Mandy Wiener is the author of 3 top-selling books on history-making South African court cases. So you could say that this is the house that truth built.
Mandy, I'm immediately struck by a really beautiful gallery of art pieces. They're absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, our art is really important to us. So Sean and I, wherever we go, we try and find pieces that we can add to our collection. And my favourites, of course, are these Isabelle Leroux's, because when I was growing up, my mum used to have Isabelle Leroux's in her house, and I always said that one day when I was an adult, I would have a piece of my own.
It makes such a statement as you walk in. You've definitely piqued my interest. Can I see more?
Absolutely.
Ears must burn at the talk around this dining room table.
I'm sensing a rather modern and contemporary feeling in your home.
Very much so, and that's what we were going for. We wanted it to have a lot of light, be very open, and a lot of space. But at the same time, we didn't want it to be one of those unfathomable homes you see in decor magazines. We wanted it to be livable and to reflect our own personalities. And this bookshelf, for me, is my pride and joy. It's the most important thing in the house to me, and one of my non-negotiables when we were building the house.
So the person you were negotiating with is your husband?
Yes, that's right. He's very minimalistic and very clinical, whereas I'm a bit more eclectic. So I like things. This bookshelf used to be bulging. It was burgeoning with books, and we have compromised. So now a lot of my books have been moved into my office that's upstairs. All of my books up there, but my favourites I keep downstairs.
I see what you mean when you talk about your eclectic nature. Do any of the pieces in your bookshelf have meaning behind them?
I'm a storyteller, so I love to collect items that do tell a narrative. And I suppose the one that I love is the Madiba Bust that Sean gave to me on my birthday, the same year that Madiba passed away. And as a journalist, I covered that, his funeral and his death. So that for me is quite a poignant piece.
So I've noticed a juxtaposition in the home between your modern contemporary pieces and then some vintage-looking items.
That's right, and that's what we wanted to do, was to juxtapose the very modern contemporary feel of our house, but also bring in pieces that talk about our heritage and our ancestry. So we've got a tea set and beautiful Shabbat candlesticks that were brought out from Germany by my grandparents. Also a grandfather clock that they brought out as well. And it's important for us to have those pieces that reflect our heritage because it's so important to us.
Mandy and her husband Sean fitted baby gates and glass into the balustrades to ensure the stairs are safe for 15-month-old Sam.
So Roxy, this is the main bedroom. And we wanted to kind of get the glamorous elegance of a main bedroom, but still keep it very natural and earthy in the colour palettes and the tones. And you'll see that in the bathroom with the pebbles that run through to the outdoor shower, which Sean insisted on having. That was one of his non-negotiables.
I wouldn't negotiate on that either. I think it's a great idea. I could definitely spend my days in these hanging chairs, though. That looks very, very comfortable.
That's one of my favourite parts of the house, those pod chairs. And you don't get that many views in Joburg. So for me, a view is so important. And there's nothing better than sitting on a pod chair and looking at a high-felt electric thunderstorm playing out over Midrand. That's true theatre.
This is where she co-authored her and Barry Bateman's new release, Behind the Door, the Oscar Pistorius and Reeva Steenkamp story. Her first book, Killing Kebble, sold over 100,000 copies in South Africa alone.
When you were writing your first book, you were building this house and planning a wedding at the same time. It seems like you work well under pressure.
I thrive under pressure, and I think it's because of my radio journalism background, where you've got deadlines of literally 30 seconds to get something to air. And I absolutely love the adrenaline and the stress and the energy of a deadline.
What is the reaction like when you release a book, both from the public or from the people who are involved in those stories?
Well, I think there's always an appetite for it, because they're generally about stories that have garnered a lot of attention. And in my books, I always try and include details that haven't necessarily been in the public domain. So, for example, in Behind the Door, we reveal details about Oscar Pistorius' phone calls. We analysed evidence that wasn't presented to the court, because we feel that it's crucial to present the full story to the reader. So we look for those pieces of information that people might not already know yet to include in a book. That's why people buy books, is because they want to know what happened behind the scenes, behind the story.
Earning her place in the sun, Mandy began in radio, became a force in legal journalism, and now boasts 130,000 followers of her Twitter reports on major court cases.
Let me guess, this is your favorite place to read.
There's nothing I love more than reading, and this is one of my favorite spots to curl up here, especially in winter, when it catches the winter sun with my cats, and read a really, really gripping, compelling book. Definitely over here.
So when you were building your home, was it important for you to create spaces like the bay window, like your study, that you could be creative in?
That was crucial for me because I write at home. So the bay window, for example, is where I would often think about what I was going to write about. And then in my study, it's a very personal space. And it's where I've kept a lot of my mementos and a lot of items from my career.
Is there a specific piece of memorabilia that stands out amongst the others?
Well, there's one in particular, and that is a collection of items from when I was in Grant Park in Chicago when Barack Obama was elected America's first black president. And that was just the most incredible experience that I wanted something to look at occasionally and remind me of that life experience that I was so fortunate to have.
Architect Craig Canter has designed a haven for thrilling conversations around crime, politics and intrigue, a quiet sanctuary to write in and a private home to escape reality.
What is so unique about this space?
When Sean and Mandy came to us, they wanted to create a home that was easy living and comfortable with a large entertainment space that was private. When we designed the house, we decided to wrap the house around a centralised courtyard space to maximise privacy and allow views across the ground floor living spaces and connections. On the first floor, the projecting boxes frame the views into the distance and also provide shelter from the rain and the sun.
The lady of the house and her husband, Sean Maisel, love cooking, being together with young Sam, doing Friday night dinners for their Sabbath, or letting a curry or ossobuco slow cook all day long.
Tell me, I've heard about all these non-negotiables all day long. What was it in the house that you could not live without?
Roxy, I'd have to say it's the outside shower. It's just, it's a really great part of the house that allows fresh air. It's open. It's just fantastic.
Now, you have a beautiful... Hello, boy. You have a beautiful entertainment area. Is that where you spend a lot of your time?
We do. We spend a lot of time there, and that was one of our briefs. We wanted a house that we could entertain in, that was very open, and that's why we had a table custom made. Sean's got quite a big family, so we really like to entertain here, and that's one of the greatest aspects of this house, that it really is an entertaining house. You can throw open the doors, and in summer it's just spectacular.
Shall we enjoy our coffee outside?
Let's go.
Let's go, Sam.
Being a freelancer allows Mandy time with her family and to work on what interests her. She's planning a new book and a podcast to explore South African stories.
This really feels like a special and intimate place for you and your family.
It really is, and I think the fact that it was tailor-made for us makes it perfect. And we love this neighbourhood. We love the fact that we can take Sam for walks. We know all of our neighbours, and they all know us. And also we feel like we're at home. It's not a house, it's a home.
And Mandy's work builds towards a country that remains a place we're all proud to call home.